and then it's going to actually go again inside of this index 0 of this array, and then it's going to actually give us this value Apple to us, okay, for the company name. And again, for the devices here, for the company device here, we refer to the name of this devices array here, as you can see, and inside the brackets of this array I referred to the name of this index variable. So now the value of this index variable is number 2. So 2 modulo 12 is number 2, okay. So now, as you can see, it's going to actually go inside of the index number 2 of this array, and then it's going to actually give me this value to me, okay, Galaxy Note 8, okay. And then it's going to actually assign that object to the index number 2 of this array, okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Now let's actually add some more codes to this class. Okay, so now let's actually create a method in this class, okay. So after the ending curly brace of this puzzle constructor here, as you can see, we want to actually create another method here. We want to actually create a method inside of this puzzle class, okay. So before the ending curly brace of this puzzle class, I want to actually create a method. So I just paste in some lines of code here, and then I'll explain to you what's going on here. So now, as you can see here, these are the lines of code that I pasted here. And now first, let's actually look at this let's shuffle the devices method here. So the access modifier of this method is public. The return type of this method is void, and the name of this method is let's shuffle the devices. And as you can see here, this method actually doesn't accept any arguments. So now let's actually go inside the body of this method and let's see what's going on here. First of all, as you can see, I assigned the value 0 to this current device module variable, as you can see here, right? So that for example, when the user calls this method, first the value of this current device module is going to be 0, and then it's going to actually execute this for loop here. So for, and as you can see, I created a variable here, and the data type of this variable is integer. The name of this variable is first device, assignment operator 0. So here I created a variable, and then I assigned the value 0 to this variable, semicolon. And then here, as you can see here, I actually put this condition here. So this condition actually determines how many times this for loop is going to be executed. So until the value of this first device here is actually less than the value of the length of this company and devices array, this loop is going to be executed. And here, as you can see, I actually put this value first device plus plus. So this means that after each execution of this for loop, the value of this first device is going to be incremented by 1. So now let's go inside the body of this for loop here. As you can see, first of all, I created a variable here, and the name of this variable is second device, right? Assignment operator. And here, as you can see, I referred to the name of this secure random numbers here, as you can see. So let's look at these secure random numbers here inside this puzzle class. As you can see here, I actually created this constant. So I actually put this final keyword, and this means that this is actually a constant. And here, as you can see, the data type of this constant is secure random here, and the name of this constant is secure random numbers. Assignment operator new secure random. So here I actually created an object of type secure random, and the name of this object is secure random numbers. So here this object can actually generate secure random numbers for me. So now let's actually look at our for loop here. So I actually referred to the name of my constant secure random numbers dot next int number of modules. So it's going to actually give me a random number, okay, by looking at the number of models here. As you can see inside this class, I created this constant here, private static final int number of models 60. So that method here, as you can see, by calling this next int method on this secure random numbers, and by passing this number of models to this method, it's going to actually give me a random number between number 0 and number 59. And then that value, that random value, is going to be assigned to this second device variable, which is of type integer, right? And in line 50, as you can see, I actually created an object of type company and device, as you can see here. And the name of this object is temp company and device, temporary company and device, assignment operator. And here, as you can see, I referred to the name of this array, company and devices array. So here inside this class, I actually created an array of type company and device, as you can see here in line 11, right? So inside this puzzle instructor, I actually initialized this company and devices array. So now, when the user, for example, creates an object of type puzzle, this company and devices array is going to be initialized. As you can see here in line 24, I am actually initializing this array, company and devices, assignment operator, new, company and device, number of modules, as you can see here, right? So here, as you can see, I actually initialized this array, and I said that this is actually an array that can hold, for example, 60 values, okay, can hold 60 values of type company and device object. Okay, so here inside this for loop, as you can see here, I am actually iterating over the values, iterating through the values of this company and devices array, as you can see. And then I am saying that company and devices index, assignment operator, new, company and device. And here I am specifying, as you can see here, the first value. And here I am specifying the second value that we specified inside this company and device constructor. Okay, the first value is going to be companies, and the second value is going to be the devices. And here we created these arrays in order to initialize this array here, company and devices array. So hopefully that makes sense. And now let's look at let's shuffle the devices here. So here I actually refer to the name of this array, company and devices. And here I actually passed this first device to this inside these brackets here. Okay, first device. So it's gonna actually, it's gonna look at this for loop here. As you can see, I created this variable here, first device, and then it's gonna actually give me a value. For example, the first value. So the first time that this loop is going to be executed, it's gonna actually give me the first value. For example, the value that is inside of the index 0 of this array, of this company and devices array, first device, and then it's gonna assign that value to this temp company device. And in line 51, as you can see, I referred to the name of this company and devices array. And I said that the value that is inside of the index first device, as you can see here, I want to change that value, assignment operator, and I want to assign this value to this to the index first device of this company and devices. So company and devices second device, as you can see here. So it's gonna actually change the value that is inside of this first device. It's gonna assign the value that is inside of this second device, and it's gonna actually assign that value to the index first device of this company and devices array, as you can see here, right? And in line 52, I again referred to the name of this company and devices array, and I said, now I want to actually change the value that is inside of the index second device. So company and devices, second device, assignment operator, temp company and device. So as you can see here, I actually created this value here, temp company and device. As you can see here, this variable actually hold a value of type company and device, as you can see here, right? So now I can actually assign that value to the index second device of this company and devices. So in this way, we can actually shuffle the devices that we have inside our application, right? So hopefully that makes sense. And if you have any questions, please post a discussion in the course, and then I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. And as you can see here, I pasted these lines of code here, okay? So the access modifier of this method is public. So the type of this method, the return type of this method is actually company and device, okay? So the name of this method is give me the modules, okay? And as you can see, this method is not gonna actually accept any arguments. And as you can see here, inside of this method, as you can see, these are the lines of code that I actually put inside of this method. So first of all, I actually created an if statement. If the value of this current device model variable, as you can see, I actually declared this variable in line 12. So as you can see, I declared this variable in line 12, as you can see here. And here I referred to the name of that variable if current device model variable is less than, okay, if the value of this variable is less than the value of the length of this company and devices array, then it's gonna actually execute this line of code here, return company and devices So here I actually referred to the name of this array, company and devices, sub current device model plus plus. Okay, so as you can see here inside the constructor of this actually puzzle here, I assign the value 0 to this current device model, and then again I assign the value 0 to this current device model inside the let's shuffle the devices here. Okay, and then here I actually specify that return the value that is inside of this current device model to me. Okay, so for example, for the first time that this method is going to be executed, the value of this current device model is number 0. Okay, so this means that this number 0 is going to be the index 0 of this company and devices array. Okay, so it's going to actually go inside of the index 0 of this company and devices array, and then it's going to actually return that value to me. Okay, return that value to the caller of this method. Okay, and after that it's going to actually increment the value that is inside of this current device model variable. Okay, plus plus. Hopefully that makes sense. So if I actually were to write this plus plus before the variable name here, so in this case it's going to actually increment the value of this current device model first, and then it's going to actually go inside of this company and devices array. So for example, before this method is executed, the value of this current device model variable is number 0. So after we call this method, it's going to actually go inside of this method, and then it's going to actually check this condition inside of this if statement. If current device model is less than the value of the length company and devices array, and then it's going to actually execute this line of code here. So inside the brackets here, we have specified that plus plus current device model. It's going to actually increment the value of this current device model first. Okay, for example, the value was 0 and now the value is number 1, and then that number 1 is going to be the index of this company and devices array. So it's going to actually give me the value that is inside of the index of this array, and then it's gonna return that value to me. I want the value that is inside of the index 0 of this array, and then it can actually increment the value of this current device model by 1, and then it can actually return other values to me. Else, if the value of this current device model is equal or greater than the value of this length of this company and devices array, it's going to actually return null. Okay, and null means nothing. Okay, for now you don't have to worry about this null here. It's going to actually return nothing to us. Okay, if this condition evaluates to false, okay, it's going to actually return nothing. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And let's actually go back inside this main activity.java file here. Let's actually do some things with these classes that we actually created here, company and device class and puzzle class. So inside of this onCreate method, let's actually create an object from the editText class. So here I just paste in a line of code here, as you can see. So the data type of our object is editText, and this is the name of our object, edtpuzzle assignment operator. And here I casted this object to an editText object, and here I said find view by id r.id.edtpuzzle. Okay, and here let's actually create a string object. Okay, and the name of our object is old edtpuzzle value, and then I need to actually put in a semicolon at the end of my statement. So as you can see here, I didn't actually instantiate this object here because I just wanted to declare this object here, this string object. So now let's actually create an object from this puzzle class. Okay, so as you can see here, the type of our object is puzzle. Okay, the name of our object is myPuzzle assignment operator, and here I actually instantiated this object. Okay, so now this object is actually referring to some place in memory. Okay, so now let's actually shuffle the devices that are actually inside of this puzzle. Okay, so I just need to refer to the name of this myPuzzle dot shuffle the devices. Okay, so now it's going to actually shuffle the devices that are actually inside of this puzzle. Okay, so remember that here in line 23 I actually created an object from this puzzle class. Okay, so here, because I actually instantiated this object, the constructor that is inside of this puzzle class is going to be executed. Okay, so now these lines of code here, as you can see, is going to be executed here. Okay, after the execution of these lines of code, we actually called this let's shuffle the devices here, this this method, this let's shuffle the devices method here on this myPuzzle object here. Okay, so now let's actually create a for loop here. So as you can see here, this is the for loop that I actually created here. Okay, so as you can see here inside the parentheses of this for loop, I actually created an integer variable, and the name of this variable is I. Okay, and then I assigned the value 0 to this variable. And here, as you can see, I specified, I actually created a condition, okay, until I is less than number 60. Okay, so until the value of this I variable is less than the value 60 here, this loop is going to be executed. And after each execution of this for loop, the value of this I variable is going to be incremented by 1. Okay, so inside of this for loop, as you can see here, I referred to the name of this object that I actually declared in line 20. Okay, old EDT puzzle value, assignment operator, EDT puzzle. So as you can see here, this is the name of our edit text object. Okay, EDT puzzle dot get text dot toString. So here I am actually getting the text of this edit text object here, as you can see, and I am actually converting this value to a string value so that I can actually assign that value to this old EDT puzzle value. Okay, and in line 31 here, I actually want to actually set some text to this EDT puzzle object. Okay, so EDT puzzle dot set text old EDT puzzle value. So in this way, it's going to actually output the previous values that were actually inside of this text view here. As you can see, it's going to actually output the old values that were actually inside of this text view, and then it's going to actually concatenate that value with the newest value. Okay, myPuzzle dot give me the models. Okay, so here I actually referred to the name of this myPuzzle object that I actually created in line 23. And I actually called this method on this object, give me the models. So as you can see here, inside of this give me the models method, I actually put these lines of code here. If current device model is less than company devices.length, company and devices.length, then it's going to actually execute this line of code here. Return company and devices, current device model plus plus. So it's going to actually go inside of this array, and then it's going to actually return the value that is inside of this current device model index, and then it's going to increment that value by 1. Okay.